Uh, Hello, everyone. Very happy to see you all. Uh, so since I started a little bit late, it took a while to get out of the airport. They're very strange planes nowadays. They go underground. I don't think I like this background. Am I wearing a hat? Okay. Um, it's a bit distracting. Anyway, so tonight's topic uh, wasn't supposed to be tonight's topic. As Emmett and I were discussing the topic for tonight, and somehow tonight's topic became the topic by force. All right, so the word itself is very interesting. The way we usually use it is, somewhat using force to usually in a negative way, but we're going to see it being applied in a way that actually is a way of helping us in the spiritual path. All right, so let's begin with a meditation. So, sit nicely. Hold in your mind the intention to meditate. Let that intention be communicated to the entirety of your being, your body, your energy, your emotions, your mind. And feel the response of the natural intelligence in the body, responding in a positive, cooperative way, giving you advice about making adjustments, making sure the posture is conducive by being stable and comfortable, making sure the spine is comfortable yet upright, shoulders are relaxed, head and neck centered, mouth, teeth, tongue resting in their natural places. Eyes resting softly. And even now, begin to feel that you're already beginning to touch the meditative state. As if you're on the bridge and you can feel what's on the other side, the air from the other side, the side of the atmosphere from the meditation side. And you're about to commit yourself to fully enter into that space. So feel yourself ready by knowing clearly what you're going to do, your intentions, and also knowing fully your motivation. That's your preparation. And with that, take that step of commitment with a nice deep breath through the nose, gently, fully breathe in. And through the mouth, completely release. And as you release, let go in the body, let go in the breath, let go in the mind, let go. Feel that momentum of letting go. Stay in that momentum of letting go. Leave the breath alone and just stay in that momentum. Letting go. Noticing the signs already arising and enhancing in the body, in the breath, in the mind. Rejoicing, witnessing any measure of the signs. Keep letting go. Stay in that momentum of letting go. And as you continue to let go, notice the signs enhancing in the legs. Let the legs go. Relax the legs. Let the legs go. Notice the signs enhancing, the signs of calming, the signs of pleasantness. Witnessing them, rejoice. Notice the signs arising in the torso from the hips all the way to the shoulders. Relax, let them go. As you let them go, notice the signs enhancing. Rejoice, witnessing the signs enhancing. Knowing that as the signs enhance in any measure, it means you are deeper into that space. You are accessing and abiding in ever more subtle, ever more powerful levels of your own consciousness. Powerful means to bring about meaningful transformation. And gently bring awareness to your shoulders, your arms, your hands, relaxing them, letting them go. Noticing the signs of calming and pleasantness in them. Rejoice, witnessing that. To the centered head and neck, bring awareness. Let them go, relax. Notice the signs of calming and pleasantness in the head and neck. Rejoice. Bring attention to your eyes, letting them rest softly. As they rest softly. Notice the signs, the calm, the pleasantness. Rejoice. And gently bring attention to the breath. Not trying to control the breath, not trying to force the mind to focus on the breath. Just be aware of the breath and noticing the signs present in the breath. Rejoice. Whatever measure of calm there is in the breath, rejoice. Whatever pleasantness there is connected to the breath, rejoice. Continue to relax the body, continue to relax, letting go, feeling that momentum of letting go. Stay continuously staying with it, allowing it to take you deeper and deeper into that space whereby you access and abide in ever subtle levels of consciousness. And the signs enhancing, demonstrating that you're indeed abiding, going deeper into the meditative state, the calm, the pleasantness. Now let's stabilize with threefold breath. Through the nose, gently breathe in. Through the mouth, breathe out. Let go, let go. Feel the letting go in the body, feel the letting go in the breath, feel the letting go in the mind. Rejoice, witnessing the signs enhancing. Stay in that enhanced state. Breathe in, stay connected, breathe in. And again, through the mouth, just completely release, let go. Let the breath come back all its own. Don't force it to come back. Stay in the depth where it took you. And for the third time, another deep breath in through the nose. Out the mouth. Letting go, noticing the signs enhancing, rejoice, noticing the other signs appearing, the inner sensations through any of the senses, tactile sensations, inner visions, inner sounds, even inner tastes or inner scent, smells. Whatever the signs are for you, recognize them, rejoice. Letting go. And in their depth, gently raise your attention to the level of your eyebrows. This is a very fundamental meditation that can be expanded unlimitless with unlimitless uses. So bring attention to the level of your eyebrows. You begin to feel a sensation there, noticing it rejoice. And in that space, consider your potential, consider that which is guiding you, protecting you, that which from the deep place within you're relying on. Feel a sense of being connected to its protection, to its guidance. It's your potential. And with a deep sense of respect, deep sense of trust and gratitude, relate. And that sensation you feel in the forehead, in some form or another, imagine or feel a presence made of light causing that sensation. And bring that presence, that sensation to the crown of your head. As much as you can, try to feel it, the sensation actually moving or having moved. And however you feel it, that's the proper way. And feel and see a bright presence now at the crown of your head, shining brightly. And as it radiates, it is transferring its essence to you. Your potential is transferring its essence to you. And just open your heart, open your mind to be transformed. It is the transformation you seek. It is being offered to you. Accept it. And continuously relax as a way of being open. Gently now bring that sensation and that bright presence into your heart and completely surrender to that brightness in your heart and just let go. And feel its presence radiating from your heart as its center throughout your being, throughout your immediate surroundings. Get ready to come out of the meditation. Make the intention to come out. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out the mouth. Gently bring attention to your immediate surroundings, your sense of touch. Be aware of the temperature again. Be aware of the feel of the clothing on you, the cushion you're sitting on. Be aware of the different sounds around you. And slowly let your eyes take in light again and begin to discriminate colors again, shapes again, lights, shadows. Right. Remember the last time you could say that you were deliberately being defiant? Probably the first time you remember being defiant was when you were very young, and the situation that made you defiant was authority. I mean, when you think about it, here you have this, this small little thing you call a little child, just learning how to walk, just learning how to speak even, and in the presence of this huge thing in front of it, it wants its way to be done. This is what I want, and that's what I'm gonna get. And even though this big thing in front of it is telling it no, it keeps on being defiant. So what is it that's going on over there with that? We're not going to go too much into what you might call social defiance, but rather a different kind of defiance. And what is driving it? And I'm specifically referring to a kind of defiance where, as the example in the email showed, where, like for some examples, like a doctor who, despite everything that the doctor sees, that it's inevitable that this patient that this doctor is taking care of, this person is not going to survive the surgery or the procedure that the doctor is implementing. And also, when someone is at the throes of death and the emergency workers or the doctors, they come rushing in and they're doing everything they can to revive the person, even though the entire team probably knows that this effort that they're putting in is not really going to have the outcome that they want. This person is not going to survive this trying to wake them up. My father was, last days was in a hospital. He had a very bad heart. They said that his heart started being very bad ever since he was in his 30s. And he did live up to be 83, yeah. So one of these days, his heart just failed him and he was rushed to a hospital. He spent like a week in the hospital. And fortunately for I don't know if I should say fortunately, but my father was very philosophical, very into what you might call metaphysical realm. He fully accepted without any doubt, or at least he didn't demonstrate that he had any doubts, that he would continue. So he wasn't really afraid of death. And and he didn't want is the moment of his passage or his transition, as he would always call it. He didn't want his moment of transition to be disturbed. So in the last day, the last hour of my father's life, it was a very strange thing. It was like he was asleep for a very long time. And suddenly, with tremendous energy, he sprung up and he pointed in front of him. And then he said somebody's name I forgot. And it's not a name that I've never heard of before. And he said, "What are you doing here?" And he was so happy to see this person. And then right after he said that, he collapsed on the bed. And that was it. And of course, the nurses and the other people came in and they tried to do their best to revive him. But they knew that there was not going to be a reviving, but they kept at it anyway. So they were defying something. What were they defying, or what was causing them? What was driving this defiance? This defiance, and it's going to seem like I'm making a um, making a detour a little bit, but it's still the same line of thought that I'm continuing. What is it when you look at evolution, evolutionary biology? And I'm not going to be asking who accepts it, who doesn't accept it. Okay, it's a fact. Okay. However way you want to describe it, okay. So what is it that caused that transition where the environment presented itself in such a way where all the signals, all the information, the data, what it was telling the life form was, hey, this is your doom. This is your doom. And yet something within that entity refused to accept that. So you could say it was defying what was the data, was defying what seems to be the inevitable. And eventually, through this act of defiance, that entity changed. And eventually, over time, keeping this defiance, and eventually, you could say, we ended up with who we are right now. You have the human species because of this defiance to what seems to be, hey, here is your doom, here is your end, and not accepting it and defying that. And that's the kind of defiance that I'm referring to. And that's the kind of defiance that you could say that is at work. If the doctors were not defiant to what seems to be data that, hey, there's nothing you can do, might as well give up. If they were not defiant, then all those diseases that we have been able to, well, I'm not sure to what degree that we've taken care of them, but all those diseases that were killing our ancestors way back then, they would have still been killing us right now. It's because certain people, certain personalities were defiant. They refused to accept that. They refused to accept that that was it. That was the inevitable outcome. And I think it's because of what can be said to be an innate understanding that change is the nature of reality. That this thing presenting itself as unchangeable circumstance, that you have to remain as you are, and the circumstances, there's nothing you can do about them. They will bring you to an end. But because of this deep unconscious understanding that change is the nature of things, and that's where this defiance comes into play. So it's not so much a naive wishing for something, but rather a connection, a deep connection to something deep within that cannot be expressed. That cannot be expressed in intellectually. That cannot be expressed in any conceptual way. But we feel it's a degree of confidence in the changing nature of things, that even though this situation, which seems to be unchangeable, I'm not going to buy into it. I'm not going to buy into it. I'm going to defy what I'm seeing. I'm going to be defiant, but I'm going to continue to work towards affecting that change. And what fuels this defiance is passion. So it's passion grounded in an unconscious way to a knowing that is not yet at the surface of understanding, and that this understanding is deep and is driving this passion. And this passion being connected to this knowing is moving forward, completely refusing to accept what is appearing. And because of that, not only you have, if you want to accept it, a single cell organism eventually becoming a complex organism, and eventually now you have humans. And eventually you have humans also defying things. No longer are we just living in caves, we are building the caves. We are building the caves with jacuzzis, with ACs. We bring the North Pole and we put it in the box somewhere and we turn it on when we want to. We bring the desert heat, we put it in the box and we turn it on when we want to. So we are defying what we see, and we say we can affect the nature of this thing that I'm experiencing. Is its nature is changing constantly, and I'm not going to buy what I'm perceiving as being an ultimate state, but rather I'm going to allow myself to rather to be in alignment with change, with the changing nature, and place my faith, my conviction in that. And this kind of defiance, when it is fueled by compassion, when it is fueled by love, that's the passion that I'm referring to. When this passion is passion of love, when this passion is passion of compassion, then you have someone who seems to be insignificant, who seems to be less, as far as the universe is concerned. As far as the universe is concerned, in terms of appearance, it's insignificant. You're just a dust on a dust in the vast cosmos, in the vast existence. And yet a dust on a piece of dust can defy this appearance of being a dust and yet become what is referred to as fully awakened. The, the, the vow that these heroic beings take, not only by looking at, oh, look at all my friends, look at all those people I love, look at all those people I care for. I'm going to defy this appearance of their being unhappy, their being subject to suffering. And I'm going to defy the limitations that I'm experiencing in my being. And I'm going to make this limited appearance to be such that it's able not only to help itself, but also to help everyone else. That's, you could say, is the greatest defiance. And then this defiance is fueled by compassion. It's fueled by love. And the measure to which it can defy is limitless, where it eventually arrives at a place where it no longer buys into any appearance of limitations, but not in a naive way, like the nurses and the doctors who are trying very hard to make something that they know is impossible to happen. They're trying very hard to make it happen. And I have to say, each time these nurses, these doctors refuse to accept, even though they know it has happened many times in the past already, even though it has happened in the past, but at the present moment, they are still trying. And because of their effort, they are evolving. They are helping us evolve. So that eventually, one day, someone will make a breakthrough. Someone will break through this appearance of limitation, this appearance of there's nothing you can do, this is your doom. And as we pierce through that, and then, of course, we will encounter maybe other kinds of limitations. But because of we say it's in our genes, so to speak, because we have been defiant. Life itself is defiance. To live is defiance. To exist is defiance. And because of this long history that we carry unconsciously in the very coding of our DNA, we are defiant beings. We will continue to be defiant. And when we witness this being played out in the social stage, it's in a sense, it is this defiance being played out. It's a recognition that I don't have to buy into this appearance of things. Change is possible, and change can be affected by my actions. Now there are instances, unfortunately, where this beautiful passion is taken over instead of being guided by this wisdom, but rather is being guided by misunderstanding, where the defiance that we are doing is actually perpetuating the very thing that we are defiant about. You want to make change in society, you want to make change in the world, but rather we are engaging in the very act, in the very means that actually perpetuate the very thing that we want to change. So we have to be wise about this. We have to be skillfully defiant. You have to be wisely defiant. That is, do not accept the things as they are, no matter how dire, no matter how hopeless they appear to be defiant in the face of hopelessness. Be defiant in the face of where it seems like there's nothing we can do. Be defiant in that. Do never accept that. But let this be fueled by an understanding of change. Let this be fueled by actions that are skillful, but rather than, since the nature of things is constantly changing, it can change from bad to worse. It doesn't necessarily mean change from bad to good. And we can accelerate the changing from bad to good, from bad to worse, if we are allowing our misunderstanding to guide us. But remember, the initial impulse for this defiance is coming from wisdom. Allow that wisdom to continue to guide us. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be tricked. Shouldn't allow ourselves to be deceived by just disguising methods that have not worked and putting a new clothing on them and trying to implement them, trying to make them bring about the change. They will not. They will only perpetuate the very thing that we are seeking, that is causing us to be defiant in the first place. And I wish, and I know, not necessarily, unfortunately, I'm not that skilled when it comes to the romantic part. But the other aspect of love, uh, uh, I would say, being defiant is a beautiful demonstration of love, where you could say you encounter a situation where it seems impossible, but you stay connected to that notion of possibility within you, not the notion of imposing, but rather a notion of possibility. Okay, there's a big difference between those two. There's imposing a specific thing onto things, and there is being sensitive to possibility. Even though the vision of what is possible is not yet present, but we stay connected to it, and we are defiant to the appearance. We are defiant to the appearance. And with that energy of that defiance, we are able to actually touch what is possible and bring what is possible to the present moment, rather to remain in the realm of the ideal, to the realm of just pure possibility. Okay. When you even with the possibility of failing, we remain defiant. And even when we actually see ourselves not succeed in whatever it is that we wanted to succeed in through our defiance, but maintaining that energy of defiance, it doesn't go to waste. It actually, in a sense, it is helping the greater community. It has sort of pushed the community closer to a more evolved, closer to a more evolved state, a more evolved way of being. Okay. And the kind of defiance that we want to be connected to, we want to stay connected to, we want to be always in alignment with, is a defiance that is being fueled, remember, by the passion of compassion, by the passion of love. When a being like, well, I don't know to what degree that you accept such a being exists, but just for the sake of at least for an example, such being as is called within the Buddhist world, the Manjushri, who sort of makes a statement that at the face of it is impossible. I mean, every bodhisattva, if you know what bodhisattva is, I don't have to explain it. Every bodhisattva, every being who is a bodhisattva, who becomes a bodhisattva, is in a sense, you're defining something. I mean, what is the vow that you have taken? It is, when you look at it in a logical way, it is impossible. What is it? What is that impossible thing that you try to do? I am going to bring every single sentient being into enlightenment. I'm going to help every being become enlightened. Every being, not every member of my family, not all my friends, and that's already very difficult. Try to get to every member of your family to to become enlightened and see what happens. How difficult that is. And not only you have your family, which is difficult. Now you have all beings, whatever that is, whatever phenomena that exists that you can say, oh, that's a being. You're making a vow, a determination. I'm going to help that being reach enlightenment. And as to how long it would take, that factor doesn't come in. And you may ask yourself, well, and I'm asking this question not to discourage you, but to show you the energy that is involved in that. How many sentient beings are left to be enlightened? How many sentient beings, how many beings have been enlightened already? How come, and how long have they been enlightened? How come there's still so many sentient beings left to be enlightened? And here you are, not yet enlightened, and you're making a statement. And it looks like it's an impossible task. And yes, you're saying, I'm going to make it possible. I am going to, all those beings that have not yet been liberated by all those who have been enlightened already, I'm gonna enlighten them. And every single bodhisattva, every single spiritual being is making that statement, is making that defiant statement. And in that defiance, when you touch that energy, it is what allows you to transform your own being. It's what allows you to transform your being. It's what allows you to do that leap of going from just a single cell entity to a complex entity that is now we call a human being. It is that defiance. And now as a complex biological being, or as a being embodying or manifesting in a complex biological form, you're taking that energy of defiance. And just like it changed that one cell entity into this complexity of appearance, you can transform this appearance of limitation. You can transform this appearance of disconnection. You can transform this appearance of not knowing to an appearance where as far as we are concerned, there are no limits. Perhaps enlightened beings experience some kind of limitation. We don't know. It's not for us to try to imagine what such limitations would be like. It would be like a one cell entity trying to imagine what it's like to be an entity that lives in a complexity, biological complexity. So as far as that is concerned, we are limitless. So imagine in a scale, in terms of intellect, in terms of connection, in terms of knowing, in terms of ability, where because of our defiance of what appears to be our limitations, we refuse to accept this limitation. And not only do we refuse to accept this limitation, but we make a vow or determination. I will not only transform my being, but I will have every being become transformed also. And this is not supposed to be just hypothetical. It's not supposed to be just poetic. It's supposed to be within your heart an actual determination. When this remains within you as merely a possibility of an aspiration to one day have, then you will not, and even though it's a gradual stage, but until it's actual, until for you it's as alive, it's as real as when you look at your hands and you can't deny that your hands are real. When whatever it is that you're experiencing and you can deny their reality, that determination within you, that defiance must in you be just as real, just as real. And when it is just as real, you will have tapped into a power, you have tapped into an energy where it is indeed for you, it will indeed present you with unlimited, possibilities. So with a little bit about the connection that we have with each other, how through this defiance that we can, and I'm not talking about very fleeting things. Remember, defiance doesn't care about time, doesn't care about any immediate results, any immediate appearances. As far as defiance is concerned, almost as if these things don't exist. It's like it refuses to accept their existence, because these are presentations of limitations. Time is a limitation, space is limitation, the body is limitation. It refuses to look into those things, but rather to focus in the depth of their essence, and stay connected to that depth of essence, of depth of possibility, where even though it seems like we are going, as far as society is concerned, oh my goodness, it seems like we're going to hell. It seems like there's no turning back. That's where we're heading. Even if 90% of the population was convinced of that and completely bought into that, and they fell into the momentum, and fell into the habit of just perpetuating that, and that seemed to you, oh my God, it's impossible to change this. Now you have a perfect, beautiful opportunity to do what that one cell entity did. You have an opportunity to defy, to be defiant, connect with your passion, connect with your compassion, and let that fuel you, let that set you ablaze, and come and refuse to accept that, yeah, society is going to hell. Okay, refuse to accept it. And whoever you encounter, even though they're perpetuating hate, they're perpetuating disconnection, you refuse to accept that. Rather, you connect with compassion, you connect with love, you connect with the possibility of change. Even if you don't see it, even if you will not see it, like the doctors, they know that if I try to revive this person, I know the person is not going to live. And yet, in defiance of that, they try anyway. And because you try, and sincerely being defiant, by your effort, even if it's just your effort, you will have raised humanity. You will have become the savior of humanity. You have become the savior of society, because you defy that. And when we are defying this, because of our interconnection, others are witnessing this. And because they're witnessing this, they're being reminded of something that they can tap into, that they too do not have to buy into what seems to be what everyone is falling into. That they too have access to this defying power, this defying energy. And recognize that this seemingly impossible, trend going downwards is mere habit. It's mere habit that we've simply set into motion. And its very nature is change. And it can reverse. A society that's completely lost to self-destruction we can defy that. We can be defiant in the face of that and turn it around and make it turn in the direction of where yeah, people are singing Kumbaya. And saying Kumbaya is not considered to be an uncool thing to do, but considered to be a very cool thing to do. Where people really understand, and I think it has to do with people want to be connected with what is real. When compassion is abstract, when love is abstract, when it doesn't have a sense of realness to it, it will not affect people. At first, you may not have sincere sense of connection with compassion and sincere, vibrant love for whoever. But you have to be real with that. Understand that that is not as vibrant as you would like it to be. It's not as deep as you would like it to be. And you have to be in defiant of that, and say it can become vibrant. It can become real. It can become something that is actually felt not only by me but people who I am with, where it can be said that even the love that you have for someone, the love that you share with someone, can be felt by others. Oh my goodness, look how you love one another. Because it is real. And because it is real, we are all connected to it. And we can all feel it. And unfortunately, a lot of us are being guided by misunderstanding. And because of this misunderstanding, wanting real love, wanting real compassion, they find themselves not able to believe in such a thing because they don't see examples of it. And they don't want to be, they are afraid to be they're afraid to be the guinea pigs to actually exercise compassion, real compassion, to exercise real love. And I'm going to say it again, in defiance of that, you who have a sense of what compassion can be, of what love can be. I'm not talking, and for the last time, tonight, do not confuse actual compassion with letting someone continue to harm themselves. That is not compassion at all. What you might call being nice is not necessarily compassion. Okay, compassion is connected to a measure of wisdom. Compassion is connected to a power. Compassion wants as a knowing of how to extract suffering, and it wants to extract it, and that is its focus. And whatever skillful means will help it extract that suffering, it will engage in it. Sometimes it will appear to be a nice thing. Sometimes it not appear to be a nice thing. Like they say, not all medicine tastes good. As a matter of fact, most medicine tastes very bad. Okay, but they do their work. Their work is to extract you from your condition of suffering. Okay, right. I didn't know I was going to be able to talk that much on that, but now I'm leaving the floor open for perhaps there was something else that you thought I was going to be talking about when from the email. You can bring that up and we can talk about it.
Phuntsok, question.
Yes.
How does one stop defiance from becoming anger?
Oh yeah. Defiance becoming anger, right?
Yes.
At first, I have to say that the anger that you tap into, the first moment of tapping into anger, you're tapping into the energy that will make it possible for you to accomplish what you seek to accomplish. What anger is seeking without any without qualifying the anger in any way whatsoever. Anger, you could say, witnesses a change has to be enacted by force. There is something that needs to be removed. And anger, you could say, at first aligns with itself with that energy that is supposed to make that happen. It's supposed to bring about that change, to remove, to destroy, to get rid of. So first is to acknowledge that there is a deep wish to change something. What should continue from that first contact is to allow understanding to take hold of that energy, to take hold of that the possibility of destroying. So you don't want this destructive energy to be just waved, because what you're aiming to destroy, it may end up staying intact, and instead you destroy something else. And what permits for this careless or unskillful use of this energy is not staying connected to your initial aspiration. Somewhere along the line, somewhere along the way, we lost our initial intention, and this intention was almost in a sneaky way was replaced by a different intention. But we have the misunderstanding that we still have the same intention in mind, and we are proceeding. It's like we think we still have the same target in mind, but we are actually aiming for something else. That's when defiance connected to the energy of anger is at the start is okay, because you need that energy sometime, the energy that anger brings you to be able to bring about that change. But if you're losing sight of what is it that you wanted to do in the first place, an example could be something to do with the law, okay? There's something that's happening in society, and you see, oh, this is wrong. And because you witness the harm of it, right? Because you've witnessed the harm of it. So compassion, that's why compassion is invoked. You witness harming being done and you want to do something about it. So compassion is invoked. Compassion now tells you something has to be gotten rid of, something has to be destroyed, or system has to be changed, some change has to be done to a system. Then, so all this is good. All this is good. And eventually, in the act of administering this energy, okay, let's say you're protesting. Something happens at that moment that has nothing to do with being able to make that change that you're wanting to do. And your intention now, your focus now is no longer, you think your intention is changing the law to bring about that change, but actually it's directed towards something very immediate. And it has to do with that energy of compassion, wanting change to take place, and it's desperate to make it happen. And because we are in touch with that desperation, that sense of needing to satisfy that desperation, we want to see, so that energy that we use, that we are connected to, we just display it in what you might call a fit of anger. We yell, we shout, but no longer focusing on the change in the law that you wanted to make anymore. So you could say your intention was hijacked, and we have the delusion of thinking that we still have the same intention of changing the law, but actually at the present moment, you're just addressing something that is just bothering you in the present moment. You're no longer thinking long-term. So your defiance that you were doing in the first place, because of this desperation, you could say, and this desperation is, it could be a sense of compassion. I really want this harm to go away, and I want it to go away as fast as possible. And the focus changes. We are still in a possession of this energy, this destructive energy that was supposed to aim at changing this thing in the system, this law, and yet we direct it towards something where we have an immediate sense of satisfaction. That's, you could say, your defiance has now become what you might call anger, misdirected energy. And the aim that you wanted to, the initial intention that invoked this energy, this defiance in the first place, you lost it a long time ago. You're no longer in that direction anymore. So you're just being swept away by misunderstanding and delusion, thinking that you're still gonna bring about that change. Sometimes the energy that you tap into, where a sense of I need immediate, I need some sense of satisfaction, I need some sense of release, almost as if you tap into the energy and you can't seem to hold on to it. It has something has to be done with it, because that's what energy is the means to do things with, right? Here is where defiance doesn't become this misguided anger. It has the patience to hold on to this energy and allowing this energy to give it momentum through time, and persistent in the direction of the real aim from the very beginning. And not being blinded by just personal satisfaction, immediate personal satisfaction, but seeing this system or this thing in the system that is harming, you want to see it, you're focusing on seeing it change. And you stay connected to that energy to give you the endurance that you will need, because you will need endurance. It will have to be constantly directing this energy in that direction so that the change can take place there. And if you're open to wisdom, perhaps the skillful thing to do to make sure that the objective of your defiance is fulfilled, you may have to do something that you don't like. Not that something that goes against your character or anything like that. Okay, something that you don't like. You're in love with this person, and you really want to be with this person, and you feel the possibility of what could be, and you sense the possibility of what could be, and yet there are aspects of your personality that are obstacles to making it possible. So in defiant to these aspects of your personality that making it possible, because what you really want is this relationship, because you see the possibility of it. So now you're in defiant of those things within you that are obstructing you. And you're open, because the relationship is, you see its value. And because you see the value of that relationship, now you're willing to let go of those aspects of your character, the aspects of your personality that you may be very attached to. But because you see that as being more valuable, then you're willing to let them go. Because you see being with that person is more valuable than holding on to these aspects of your character that are not helping you in the first place. Okay. I don't know how I end up with that one. Did I answer that question?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we see this in a lot of romantic novels where the lovers defy things. And of course, people think about the tragedies of lovers. But the thing is, because lovers continue to be defiant for their love, they help all other lovers. Where the love is the love of personal love, which you might call person to person, where they have this unique little universe that they create for each other, or it's the love for society. Wherever, for the sake of love, you're defiant, you're helping all lovers. And it doesn't really matter if, remember, it doesn't really matter if you end up being together. That's not the, you could say evolutionarily speaking, that's not its intention. Its intention is to elevate the entire species. And each time an individual is being defiant, we are helping the entire species. So because it is impossible to save all sentient beings, and you take a vow to save all sentient beings, you will achieve the impossible. I don't know what this thing is doing to my hair. Looks like I'm wearing a beret or something. And I know I don't like any kind of head wear. Any questions, anyone? Any comments?
If you want to get rid of the beret look, you have to ditch the chroma key. You know, it's a common problem. All right.
Yeah.
I'll say that. You know.
A little something I'm going to say about secret teachings, the realm of mantra, the practices of mantra, or for those of you who don't know, tantra, that one you know. A tantrika is somebody who is in constant defiance. And I can tell you, the opportunities for you to be defiant will increase the opportunity to become depressed will increase. And as these opportunities, as these occasions, these events will make it more and more difficult. And then they will make it less and less, it will be easier and easier to simply surrender to depression, to what we talked about last time, to despair. That's when you have to become a tantrika. You have to become defiant. Refuse to accept it as real, as ultimately real. Remember the flash of experience that you had that connected you to something truly marvelous. And always remember it. It is more real than the appearances that are that will fall on you like an avalanche. There's a in the Lojong teachings, the teachings of training the aspiration of fulfilling for consuming, having a full consummation of love and compassion to its ultimate end. That's what it is, the training of bringing compassion and love to their ultimate end. In that, there is something that says, even if all sentient beings were to turn against me, I will not lose my compassion and my love for them. What kind of defiance is that? So even when society is crumbling around you, be defiant. See that they all have the potential to be great beings, to be great lovers. All right. So it's that time. No questions? No comments? Is this what you thought the talk was going to be about when you read the email? Is there something that seemed to have not been touched upon? Okay, I'm never buying a beret. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm very happy that we have this community where we can, what I would say, dive into the teachings in a way where when we come out of it, we can feel that they can be immediately applied, and that we don't have to have a special life that we have to create and then start implementing the teachings. But in our life, as it is right here, right now, we can start implementing them. I'm not talking about making a drastic change in yourself right here, right now, but as you are right here, right now, we can start implementing them. All right.
Are you still open to questions? I'm looking at the time here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
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 So I just didn't want to, you know, say, you know, the more people on here, the fewer questions. No, that doesn't. There should be more questions, right? But
Yeah.
and so I'll just try and ask if, you know, my understanding is correct. It seems to me that if you're going to talk about defiance and talk about it as an act, one must first, you know, as in all things, examine one's intentions. And so in kind of bringing up defiance in relationship to vows and what is a bodhisattva, what does it mean to take bodhisattva vows, so it's very, very important. You're suggesting that defiance, you know, should be tied to that. And as if you've taken bodhisattva vows, you're in the process of you know, kind of bringing all of your life activity into that realm. All right. So
Yeah.
it's not just this you know, vow or intention that's over on the side that, you know, if you know you know, so
Exactly.
and it's also not something, you know, that I think, at least in my experience, that happens at once, right? Maybe it can, right? Or maybe it's already there, you know, so it has to be lived. And so, you know, so there's a lot, I think, you know, in there that you talked about that, you know, one is the, you know, the perspective, having the perspective of, you know, I'm one person, I'm, you know, one speck of dust, and I'm, you know, I'm, that's all I am. And if the organism moves, right? And I'm kind of moved with it, right? Yet you also, you know, in thinking about intention and thinking about defiance, you know, there's also the notion of conviction. I don't know if you talked about conviction, but I think that's really maybe the bridge, you know, as to what is real, what is within my realm of possibility. And if all things are possible, you know, then in a sense, nothing's possible, right? If all things are possible, right? You know, so, you know, so that's kind of my understanding. And I think that, you know, you know, we very often, at least in my life, very often come across things that, you know, I think, you know, ought to be this way, or I wish I had acted this way, or I think that that's, or I feel that that's, you know, the right, you know, thing to do. But very often shied away from it because, you know, it's not possible, right? And, you know, so again, I guess I'm just kind of summarizing and say, you know, I thank you for this, you know, mention of skill, right? Because, you know, I have 2 left feet when it comes to, you know, living, you know, so, you know, so I have to, like, I trip a lot and have to pick myself up. But I do think there are times when, you know, we get advice, right? And people say, don't do that. You're not, you know, that's going to be too much for you. It's too hard. It's too whatever. But we still have to take that advice and take it unto ourselves and really examine ourselves, right? I mean, that's what, you know, that's my experience. And then make a decision, and not to hang our hat on any one little bit of advice, right? You know, because I could be wrong, you can be wrong too. That advice could be wrong, or it just could be not appropriate. So anyway, so
yeah, that's where we have to be open and not be attached.
right.
And when we are just stuck to just one way of doing things. We are attached. We are no longer focusing on what we initially were focusing on. Our intention have changed. We don't even know
Right.
it.
Right.
And,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, my experience. So we don't, you know, sometimes you have the feeling we don't have the opportunity to be defiant, right? Because we don't have, you know, we haven't put the skills together with the, you know, reality of the situation. But sometimes that does happen, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
we know that we know, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, and the forces out there, the 90% or whatever, they don't want to hear it, right? And you know, so it's like, shut up, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just like, march this way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we don't have to do that, right? You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to do that as long as, you know, we, you know, at least in my case, as long as I've really, you know, I see it as an opportunity and I understand why and how, you know, and though I may yet fail, you know, I can, you know, I'm still, you know, gonna take action and maybe be defiant, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
To end that, I'll add to it that whenever you are in alignment with compassion, sincere compassion, how to whatever degree that you can, it's sincere to you. Whenever you are in alignment with love, to whatever degree you're in, you can be love is sincere to you. Whenever you are in that, then you have to act. You have to let it guide you. You have to let it guide you. And you may fail, and most of the time we may fail. But the aim, the point of it wasn't to what the point of it is to what we should consider as success is, did I stay connected to love? Did I stay connected to compassion? As I was acting, as I was walking, as I was implementing this, did I stay connected to love? Did I stay connected to compassion? That should be the measure of success, not whether or not whatever you wanted, um, whatever you wanted the thing to turn out to be, whether it turned out to be that or not.
Did it change
Because
me, or did I change myself? You know,
yeah,
or did I? Yeah. Am I? You know,
yeah,
too attached to the outcome, so that it's now
yeah,
screwing the rest of my experience, or and everybody else that's
exactly,
around me who has to deal with it.
exactly,
Right. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Good. I think. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so we have just enough time to do that meditation. So we're still doing that same meditation. We're ending with the same meditation. So recall how it felt when you were in the meditation, and let that very memory, that recalling of that meditation, let it bring you back into an experience of that meditation. Allow that intelligence in the body to communicate, to cooperate. Follow the advice that it gives you. Arranging your legs and torso, your arms and hands, your head and neck, your eyes, face. And through the body itself, begin to feel that you're touching the meditative state. And recalling that with the experience of being in meditation, how the mind felt, just remembering, how did the mind feel? How was the breath? Just remembering that begins to give you a taste again of that experience. And let us commit ourselves to this with a deep breath through the nose, gently breathe in, and through the mouth, breathe out. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Feel the momentum in the body. Feel the momentum in the breath. Feel the momentum in the mind. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Notice the inner signs pointing to clarity and radiance. Rejoice. And think of us, all of us assembled here from all over the world. We're all in your house, in a circle. No matter how big or how small your place is, we all fit nicely, comfortably. And we form a circle. And in the very center, there is the embodiment of us, the collective us, the collective being that is us. It is a shining presence, and we're all connected to it through rays of light coming from our hearts to its heart. We draw strength from it, us, and it draws strength from each one of us. And begin to let go, allow, and see and feel that presence that is the collective us expanding, taking more space. The more space it takes, the brighter it becomes, until we are all completely lost in its brilliance. And we feel ourselves as the collective us, and yet we maintain a distinction of being our individuality. We're experiencing this pure mystery. And this collective us continues to expand until every space, every object, everyone in our neighborhood, in our homes, in our state, continues to expand until the entire globe, the entire earth, is absorbed into that light. The mountains, the rivers, the sky, those that fly, those that run, they're all part of that us. And just like the left hand doesn't feel it the sacrifice to take care of the right hand, it is us. So taking care of sky, mountain is just taking care of us. And gradually begins to shrink back. And yet this time, as it shrinks back, whatever that it touched remains. There's a glow left. And there's a still sense of connection. The appearance of being individuals and distinct is more pronounced, and yet the sense of us is still very strong. It shrinks even further until it goes back to just that presence in the very center of our circle. And we feel the touch remaining with us, the touch of being us and being the entire planet. It makes as much sense to us that we are the river as our left hand is the same as us as the right hand. And with this understanding, this appearance of the collective us radiates light, dissolving into each one of us, where we maintain our sense of distinctive us, and yet that collective sense of us. Now we are both, each one of us, the collective and the individual. And whatever you may have gained, gifts you may have understood, we have gained from this, think of sharing it by dedicating Gyewa Di Kyokun Sunam Yeshe Sozo Shin Sunam Yeshe Lechungwe Damba Kunye Tupar Show. Get ready to arise from the meditation. First, be aware that you are indeed in the meditative state. Notice the signs, the calm, the pleasantness, the clarity, the radiance, the inner sensations. Rejoice witnessing them. Just rest in that space. Keeping that joy, make the intention to come out and commitment to come out with a nice deep breath through the nose. Breathe in, hear it, feel it. Through the mouth, breathe out, hear it, feel it. And through your senses, reconnect to your immediate surroundings, reconnect to your sense of touch, feel the temperature again, be aware of the clothing, the cushion, be aware of the different sounds, be aware again of lights, shadows, colors, and shapes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phuntsok.
Thank you.
That was a fiery class. Thanks everyone for being here. I put the links to Phuntsok's Patreon page as well as a link to make a one-time donation if you prefer. Like I said, these videos are recorded. It'll be on Patreon page tomorrow morning, and it's so great to share this space with all of you. So thank you, Phuntsok.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phuntsok.
Thank you. At this time at home, we would hang out, have tea, go to Momo's, have sushi. But we have to do it virtually now.
We can have virtual momos.
Thank you.